think we're about to go live. So, John, do you want to quickly just introduce yourself and then introduce the topic, and then we can have a discussion?
Yeah, sure. So I'm John Moraski. I'm the founder of Founder Food. Been interested in delivering clean, all-natural food to customers around the valley for years. Been doing that for about 10 years. And lately, I've become enthralled with the concept of mixed-use facilities for quite a different reasons. Really exposed to them, and of course, I have a daughter that plays club volleyball. So I've had opportunity to see, what great gathering places they can be for communities.
Mhm. Okay, great. And do you want to talk a little bit more about your thoughts around mixed-use facilities and things like that?
Well, I think it's pretty. I think they're sustainable because of the multiple revenue streams. So, and they have lasting power. I think they're starting to go up all over the country. Two that are close by, Limo U, which is up north. I want to say Redwood City, maybe a little more north, and then the Plex in South San Jose. And so, I think Plex is a great example. Your birthday parties, work meetups, club volleyball, soccer, hockey, children, arcade. You have restaurants, food, kids will play ball, parents get their work done, basically, and
Yeah.
we congregate.
That's actually an interesting perspective. That's actually, you play ball while you get to work done. So that's a good idea.
Well, with all the remote work, I mean, that's sort of what I do. One eye on my child, one eye on Founder Food. So I think for Founder Food, it's really interesting for me because of what we might be able to do with a mixed use facility. So historically, a passion of mine was making sure that we got clean food out to our customers. But my concern lately has been around, the research. You almost don't feel that I can market and brand any restaurant food as clean or safe, because at this point we don't necessarily understand, what's in the sludge. Like, we know there's a lot of plastics, a lot of forever chemicals. You don't really have the right testing for that. So that's concerning. When you do our organic, you can keep the glyphosate out of the food, but we've engineered lots of sourcing in foods to be able to handle more glyphosate. And then
What's the word again?
Glyphosate.
What is
so
that?
It comes from the product Roundup.
Oh, okay.
And I think the science is becoming more clear, but we're seeing like a link and increase in diseases, particularly in children, from those types of contamination. So for me, not that I'm an expert, although I would seek to work with experts, those two contaminants in particular are concerning. And you'll find articles all over the net if you do a deep dive. In some organic farms like up north, like that were stalwart farms, have been found to be contaminated. The Northeast is even worse. North Carolina has problems as well. So,
but by the way, just what diseases does it cause?
well, I mean, I think autism could be one. There's lots of liver, lots of kidney, glyphosate. There's not a strong link with autism. I don't want to parade as an expert because I'm not. But in the research, you can find links to quite a bit. Glyphosate is definitely linked several court cases to cancer, especially those who apply it. So it's not something you want in your child, or we want ourselves. So I think for Founder Food, one thing I've been thinking, we need to go more local and grow veggies locally, particularly in Palo Alto. I think would be a great place to start because you have Stanford right there. So I've been researching about hydroponic containers where you can grow vegetables. So my vision for mixed use facility is all of the above: basketball, volleyball, soccer, whatever makes sense, whatever the community wants. I know there's a huge demand. I meet parents all the time in Redwood City or in South San Jose. They're driving that far from Palo Alto. So I think it'd be a great place for that. But what I would do is add a catering kitchen, do B2B, B2C delivery. We would feed our guests. We would have a cafe. and grow vegetables on site. And then I think you can add an educational component. We could have startups in there. We could have Stanford researchers in there, particularly if we were centrally located in Palo Alto. And we could start to build a model for communities to grow more vegetables locally. These vegetables could go to schools. So, a lot of good could come from that, I think, particular. But, with hydroponics, how do you keep the startup afloat, right? How do you prove the business model? This is why a mixed-use facility is so valuable. To put all these things under one roof, part of your operation has a rough year, or, like Founder Food, we had a rough pandemic, right? So when you have a mixed-use facility, you can adapt and continue to sustain.
Do you have a site in particular that you had in mind that might be good for this?
Well, I think the Fry's building is why I thought of you would be excellent. So I know it's been tied up with Sobrato, and of course, greatly understand and respect the need for affordable housing all over the Bay Area. We're all 110% behind that. But the Fry's building, where there's a case where the structure needs to be preserved and you cannot do that, and it's been sitting empty. You from what I've read, you may know more, but the structure needs to be preserved, but you can't do it with the building regulations if you're going to convert the building to into housing. So, that might be a great place, to house something like this. The location obviously would be greatly applauded in Palo Alto. Stanford, right there. So, the startups, technology.
In fact, I think there was an incubator right there at one point, right? I'm not sure if it's still there, but there was a startup incubator.
It seems to be
location.
flanked. Yeah, it seems to be flanked by a couple of tech companies now.
I'm not sure if that incubator is still there, but I remember there being one there.
It might be an old Y Combinator site. I don't
know.
remember.
It was called let me see.
I know we delivered food there, but it has been a while.
Let me see, what was it called? Yeah, it was Playground, right?
Still there.
Is it still there?
Yeah. When I looked at the building, I do recall seeing
I
Playground.
didn't know if there was anything still at that Fry's location, but I think there was Playground, right? Yeah, I didn't realize if Playground's still there. Let me see. Let's see. I'm just Googling it right now, seeing if it's there. Playground. Oh, it's Playground Global, right? Playground PC. That's the one, right?
Yeah, I remember I saw the sign.
I don't know if it's there still. It's like for hardware startups, right, or something.
Playground, early stage investment firm built to help brilliant entrepreneurs bring bold technical visions to life. Playground VC. Yeah, there you go. 380 Portage Avenue. It's still listed in Google.
There,
I do remember. I saw some kids out back working on some projects and whatnot.
Okay.
Chatting.
Yeah, it looks like it's still there. Playground Global, right? Yeah, 380 Portage. Yeah, I guess it's still there. I don't see it on the website. It's kind of weird. I wonder if it's still there or it's just or was there, But okay. So there's some precedence, at least which you're saying, right?
Yeah, they might be a great partner.
Yeah.
I think what it is, the main building is open. And so I'm just in the beginnings of exploring the idea. That's why it occurred to me to be a perfect person to ask. I've spoke to a couple investors. One of them has already been involved in several deals back on the East Coast.
Mm,
He's offered a little bit of help. There is another incubator I've reached out to, Farm Tech. And so just in the very beginnings of thinking it through, I've talked to one of the employees at Clips VC, and well, everyone just loves the idea. I think I've ran it by a bunch of parents. Obviously, really, us parents, we're desperate actually to.
sure.
We want our children out of the house. We want to be healthy. We want positive role models. We want to be educated. So, community center is a perfect place to do that.
Yeah,
I would like.
Yeah, Palo Alto, they're talking about doing some sort of public gym or something like that. Maybe this could be that, right? It could be a gym, it could be incubator space, it could be community center, it could be yeah, place to grow stuff, right? Adult
Cafe.
kitchen. Right?
Yeah, I mean it's
Yeah,
when you have a large space, there's just so many things you can do.
yeah.
In terms of catering kitchen, some of my partners like Cali Greek Kitchen from Palo Alto, Zorene's Indian. These folks would love to come in. They could bring their commissary in there. Right? That's another way to generate revenue. We could prepare catering in there. We could grow food locally that we knew was clean and safe.
Sure.
So
Well, I think that roof is quite large, right? I mean, it has it's a flat roof, I think, right?
Yeah.
So,
I would have to get in to see, but I think it would. I've looked at the other buildings they play volleyball and basketball in. I think it easily supports volleyball, basketball, soccer.
oh no, I'm saying you could directly, I guess. I don't know if it could support the weight, but I would think you could put like some hydroponics up on the roof and it could directly grow stuff. But I don't know. I don't really know hydroponics that well.
Possibly. Well, what I've seen that I like is like a $250,000, basically like a big shipping container, and they come ready to go.
Oh, with hydroponics?
Yeah, the hydroponics is ready to go, and I spoke to that company a little bit, and yeah, a novice could.
How do you power it? Like electricity?
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe so, and I have to check the sustainability on it. You might be able to do solar. Depending on the zoning, what was allowed. I mean, would stack those things behind that building.
Oh, I see.
If we could get them inside the building, then that would be really, really neat. Might be able to have an intern program and excite a whole generation of kids to grow clean vegetables locally in there.
Yeah, but I tell you, they've been trying to figure out what to do with it, right? And theoretically it could be housing, but it's kind of a tough. It's not, the building wasn't really built for housing, so it's kind of a tough structure to retrofit into housing. And the retail, unfortunately, is not great vantage point for retail, so it's hard to have a retail there. So yeah, just your suggestion of having a multi-use space there may not be a bad idea.
I believe so. I think retail has gotten so hard, and
Yeah,
even restaurants.
I used to not be in retail, but sell to retailers. So I could totally agree with you on that one. Right?
Yeah, retail just may not be the way of the future for future generations.
Yeah. Well, I think United States actually is way over retail. So the amount of square footage of retail, of physical retail per person in the United States is like, I think so it's like 5x or something, like some just 5x more than the next country, right? So it's like we have so much more retail here than any other country. And so, which is great in that we get really great prices. There's so much competition, but the downside is I don't know if all that retail is sustainable.
No, I don't think it is. I mean, this building is a prime example in San Jose on Berryessa. We're across from the flea market, and there are beautiful retail spaces downstairs. 2 out of 10 of them are full.
Oh, 2 out of 10? Oh my
2
God.
out of 10. Yeah, they're just sitting there.
Oh my God.
They're not even building. This building's been here, I don't know, 3-4 years. So, and there's a new Safeway, a few new businesses, little boba shop.
Yeah.
We've got a CVS, so it's a nice little hub.
Yeah.
But the retail, I think, just not coming in.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the other thing that worries me is like the office space, right? commercial real estate is really down in the dumps, right? Some of these buildings are empty, right? It's pretty crazy. Okay, hey John, I got it.
Yep.
Sorry, go ahead.
Awesome. No, I just, I don't think the office is going to see same capacity either. So, I think, yeah, I mean, I'm going to keep looking for buildings, but I think there's a lot of empty space around that, we could utilize to benefit the community for sure.
Okay, John. Well, thank you so much for your time today, and thank you for the suggestion. Great seeing you again, and I'm going to jump over to Jürgen.
Mhm.
Okay,
Thank you, Greg.
thank you. Let me stop the live stream.